What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today is that time of month. Once again, we're going to do a tier list. This time, I'm going to be switching to, we did music last time, but we're going to be switching to another genre, which is sports entertainment. There's only really one league of sports that I really watch and try to catch most of the games, and that is the National Football League. I try to catch every game of the season, and since it's such a short and only has 32 teams, it's pretty easy to like watch most of the games, especially for the team that you're rooting for. Or I guess it's a 17 game season now, but it spans over what 18, 19 weeks, and it's pretty easy to catch every game, like I said. So I've been watching them for years now, since probably about 2014. I've been super big fan of football, so no secret what my favorite team is. You can see the poster back there. The legs of Jair Alexander actually got cut this season, which I was really sad about. But we're going to be going over the teams and what I think their outcome is going to be this coming season. So this will be the 2025 to 2026 season. I'm going to be going over what I think each team, what their potential is this season. And I haven't really caught up with all the news in the offseason. I'm not the biggest, like crazy. I'm not like a YouTube, sports YouTube or anything, or I'm just going off like what I've heard and what I think about each team and what their history has been with these like going to the playoffs and stuff. So anyway, guys, without getting too deep or yapping for too long, here is the tier list. I did not make this tier list. This is a tier list I found on the website, but here we are. We have obviously every team, and then we have, what is this, 8 tiers, which is Super Bowl favorites, contenders, playoff teams, potential wild cards, missing the playoffs, mediocre, young but intriguing, and number one pick contention. So we're just gonna go pretty quickly. This probably end up being a pretty short video. There's only 32 teams to go over. Don't judge me too hard. Like I said, I'm not the biggest expert on the NFL or anything, but these are just my opinions from what I've seen. So we're gonna start off with the New Orleans Saints. The Saints last season had a really good start with Derek Carr. They actually were expecting them to make a playoff run, and were like literally one of the best teams in the league, like probably the best team in the league at the first 4 weeks, and this kind of fell apart. I don't know what their starting quarterback's going to be this season. If it's still Derek Carr, I definitely see them missing the playoffs again this year. I mean, I think they missed the playoffs last year, didn't they? I don't think they made a wild card. But I'm going to say, um, I guess they are. They could be a potential wild card, but I'm going to put them in missing the playoffs. I really don't think they made too many improvements between this season and the last one. So that's just where I'm going to put New Orleans Saints. I'm actually going to check who their starting quarterback is and what changes they made in the offseason real fast, just to make sure I'm happy with where they're put right there. Yeah, they had a 5-12 record last season, so they really did not have a very good season last season. And they no longer have their quarterback. I think they just drafted a rookie quarterback that might be playing this season. So yeah, I honestly would rather put them even lower at mediocre at best, but I'm just going to put them as a missing the playoff team. Next up, we got the Miami Dolphins, which I can't remember the last time the Miami Dolphins had a really good season in the NFL. I don't think they're going to have this one either. I don't know who their starting quarterback is right now. I guess I'll look it up. We don't have an official depth chart yet because it's still so far from the regular season, but I'm assuming Tua Tagovailoa is going to be returning this season. He's been plagued with injuries and concussions, especially last season, where I think he missed quite a few games because of his proneness to injury. And I don't know really what kind of weapons they have on the receiving or who they have in the backfield as of right now. Their defense last season, I don't remember being that good either. I think they're probably one of the worst defenses last season, and and of course they missed the playoff from what I remember. So I'm gonna say they're probably young but intriguing. How about that? Next up, we're gonna going with a heavy hitter. Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens have been absolutely great. They were great last season. Also, was probably my team to go to the AFC side of the Super Bowl, but unfortunately, they did lose. I think to the Chiefs. Right? They lost to the Chiefs last season. And of course, Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs made it to the Super Bowl. They're definitely, I think, every season is going to, as long as Lamar Jackson is in the backfield, who I thought should have won MVP this season. I understand that Josh Allen won MVP, but I think Josh Allen and the Bills actually beat the Ravens last season. But Josh Allen also had a really good season, but I do think that Lamar Jackson definitely deserved MVP over him. And that's just my opinion, though. And of course, with Lamar Jackson being one of the best, running, scrambling quarterback of all time in the NFL, they're always going to have a chance especially if he can continue to throw the ball well. They're definitely going to be a Super Bowl contender this season as well. I don't see that going anywhere anytime soon. Then we have Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals, who, despite him playing really well, the team suffered this season. And did they even make the playoffs? Check. According to AI Overview, last season they went 9-8. They were 6 in points scored, which is really good. But I'm assuming they had a really bad defense last season, which really held them back. They say defenses win championships. They went 9-8. Pretty sure they missed the playoffs. I'd say that they're probably going to be a playoff team this season. I don't really know what moves they made. By the way, this is like in the middle of July when I'm recording this, so I really don't know what kind of changes they still have to make or what they have made during the offseason. But with Joe Burrow in the backfield playing nearly, potentially MVP ball, I can definitely see the Bengals making the playoffs this season if they've made any moves towards their defense at all. So that's just my opinion. But next we have the Denver Broncos, who have really struggled of late. They had Russell Wilson for a little bit, and then they had a young talent who was actually playing pretty good, I think. From what I remember from last season, he was actually playing some pretty good ball. I don't think the Broncos made the playoffs, though. But what I'm going to say for the Broncos, since I really don't really know much about them, they have a young quarterback, and I feel like they have some talent on that team. I'm going to say they're going to be mediocre at best, maybe even up to like missing the playoffs. But the Broncos really have struggled recently. The New York Giants, which haven't been good since Eli Manning, and maybe, well, except for that couple seasons when they had, well, no, they still had Eli Manning, I'm pretty sure, but they had like Odell Beckham Jr. shit in like the early 2010s and mid 2010s. They're pretty good. They've really struggled to find a good quarterback to play the position. They had whoever the fuck that quarterback was last season, and they kept switching around and stuff, and they couldn't settle on one. And they really need to find a steady and stable quarterback if they're going to even come close to even making the playoffs. I'm honestly tempted to either put them at mediocre at best or number one pick contention. They definitely ain't making no playoffs. I'll be beside myself if they make the playoffs. I'm going to say they're going to be number one pick contention. Minnesota Vikings, which I'm pretty sure the Vikings won the NFC North, which was really contested last season with who was going to win. It was really between the Detroit Lions and the Minnesota Vikings. It could have been. I think the Lions won the division, but 3 of the 4 teams made the playoffs last season in the NFC North. Minnesota Vikings were just absolutely crazy on offense from what I remember, and had a really strong defense as well. Was really in contention to win the NFC North, but I think they lost like their last game or something, which allowed the Lions to win the NFC North. But obviously, I think they're going to be one of the playoffs teams this season too. I don't really think they lost anything this season. And of course, it's just the Vikings were really good last season. That's all I gotta say. The Rams, didn't they make the playoffs this season? But what's his face? Fucking Matthew Stafford is really starting to decline in talent, and because of his age, and probably is on the verge of retirement. Don't know really what they're going to do with the quarterback. He's still pretty good, but he's not nearly as good as he was in his prime, and they've been losing a lot of their weapons since their Super Bowl team they had a few years ago, that super team they made, and obviously that really hurt them in terms of like cap space and picks. So to be honest, I feel like the Rams are on the decline right now. I'm gonna say they're gonna be mediocre at best. Tampa Bay Buccaneers with Baker Mayfield were actually really good last season. Baker Mayfield was almost putting up like MVP numbers playing for the Buccaneers. So definitely a lot of potential with the Buccaneers this season as long as they made the right moves in the offseason. Baker Mayfield, as long as he plays as good as he did last season, I can definitely see they're definitely going to be a playoff team. I don't know if they're going to be a Super Bowl contender, but they're definitely going to be one of them playoff teams this season, I think, as long as they made the right moves in the offseason and Baker Mayfield performs like he has been. Next up, we have the Detroit Lions, which were just absolutely unstoppable. I think they were like the longest undefeated team in the NFL. I think they went like 8-0 before they lost their first game. Yeah, they were absolutely amazing this season. Was probably like one of my favorites to win the Super Bowl this season, but they didn't even make it. They lost to the Eagles. was a really good game, I think, between them and the Eagles, and they lost. So, or the Washington Redskins. I think it was, or not the Redskins, the Commanders. I think the Commanders beat them actually. So, but they're definitely going to be one of my favorites. It's going to be my first favorite for the winning the Super Bowl this season. I really, even though they're in the same division as my Packers and they're rivals and stuff, I definitely would like to see the Lions win a Super Bowl because they never have. I don't even think they've made a Super Bowl in the entire history of their franchise. So I'd love to see them um, be able to make it in my lifetime, and I feel like they have the best chance right now with like just how young and electric their team is right now. And what really happened was that who was their fucking quarterback again? Jared Goff. Jared Goff is really kind of sold later in the season, and he kind of fell back to what he used to be with the Rams. But actually, might want to make me want to put it just down to here. Actually, I'm still gonna put. Like, I'm a bit biased. I want to see them win, so I'll put them right there anyway. Next up, we got the Chicago Bears. Every season, the Chicago Bears say they're gonna make the playoffs, and they like fucking never do. They're kind of like just the punching bag of the NFC North right now. Wouldn't mind seeing them playing some better ball. I always like to see, teams that have been beat up for a while come out on top. But I don't see the Chicago Bears doing it this season. I'm gonna say they're a number one pick contention. Next up, we have the San Francisco 49ers, which I can't even remember if they've made the playoffs this season or not, but I'm pretty sure from what I remember, they came off playing some pretty good ball. I'm gonna check their record real fast and see. Ooh, they went terrible. What I think happened actually, now that I'm thinking about it and seeing the record, is that I'm pretty sure they were plagued with injuries all season. I think if they're healthy this season, they're definitely going to be at least a potential wild card. But obviously, injuries is going to just completely destroy the team. I think the team has a lot of talent on, especially on defense. Their offense, from what I can remember, have never really been that great. I'm going to go ahead and put them in potential wild card right there in the middle there. So now we have the Philadelphia Eagles, which is honestly one of my least favorite teams in the NFL. But I cannot just I don't know what to say, disrespect the team and like how well their team is organized and just how good this team actually is. Obviously, this came off a Super Bowl win against the Kansas City Chiefs, which was completely dominant. The Eagles just absolutely put belt to ass on the Kansas City Chiefs, canceling and just squashing the three-peat potential just from the get-go. Literally, Patrick Mahomes had the worst game of his entire career against the Philadelphia Eagles in the Super Bowl, and one of the worst Super Bowl performances, like just full stops from a quarterback. So his defense is insanely good. Jalen Hurts is playing really good fucking ball. Um, their defense is damn near unstoppable with Saquon Barkley. They have so many fucking star-studded players on their team. Definitely gonna be one of my Super Bowl favorites for this season. Then we got the Las Vegas Raiders, which really don't know what the fuck last season was for this team. They really fucking struggled. One of the worst teams in the NFL last season. I really don't see that changing much this season. I'm gonna say mediocre at best. I'm really gonna say they're gonna number one pick contention, but we're gonna put them up there and mediocre at best. Now we got my team, the Green Bay Packers, and I really don't like the moves they made during the offseason. I really feel like they didn't add anything to the team and mostly took away talent from the team, which is really unfortunate. Like I said, they dropped my favorite player, which is Jair Alexander, which I really didn't like, and he was literally a Pro Bowl caliber corner. I don't know if he didn't play very well last season. From what I remember, from what I've watched, he did. So I don't really understand what the. I guess they ran out of cap space and couldn't afford him anymore. But going based off of the moves and stuff from the Packers I've seen this season, which I've researched most of them, I'm gonna say they're gonna be potential wild card. I can definitely see them missing the playoffs this season, but usually they always sneak into the playoffs somehow every season and then get beat either in the first or second round of the playoffs. I'm hoping that's not going to be the case. I really hope they make the Super Bowl because they are my team, but I'm just thinking this is like objectively as possible and without any favoritism here. I don't see them doing any better than they did last season, to be honest. Next up with the Washington Redskins and Jaden Daniels. That's his name, right? Jaden Daniels, the quarterback for the Washington Commanders. I keep calling them the Redskins. The Commanders, because for some reason Redskins is offensive. They had a super good season. Jaden Daniels really had one of the best rookie seasons ever from a quarterback. Hopefully, it doesn't go into a sophomore slump. I really don't think it's going to happen. I definitely think the Washington Redskins, the Washington Commanders are definitely going to be a Super Bowl contender once again this year. And I think they're going to give a lot of teams a run for their money in the NFC, correct? They're in the NFC, right? Could definitely see them making their way up to the Super Bowl. They're definitely going to make a playoff run, I'm sure. Next up, we got the Arizona Cardinals, which honestly, I don't really know anything about this team. I don't really keep up with the team, but pretty much every season I've seen them, they've been pretty mediocre. I think they might have made the playoffs this last season. Let me check their stats real fast. So yeah, according to this, they didn't do very good this season. 8 out of 9, 8 wins, 9 losses. They didn't make the playoffs. They haven't made the playoffs in 3 years. Like I said, they haven't really played that good of ball. Kyler Murray, even though having a pretty good season, just wasn't able to get them over the hump. I don't really see anything changing this season either. I'm gonna go put them at mediocre at best. Next up, we got the Pittsburgh Steelers, which just recently acquired Aaron Rodgers for fucking some reason. Aaron Rodgers, just ever since he's made his way to the Jets, has not played at all, and he should probably just retire. Achilles injury really fucked him up too. He really went to the Jets and played one snap of football, and then came this season, played pretty good football, probably average in terms of quarterbacks, but just isn't enough to even carry any team or even help any team make the playoffs or Super Bowl run. I'm gonna say the Steelers are gonna miss the playoffs this season. Next up, we got the Buffalo Bills. Obviously, with Josh Allen, the reigning MVP, he is definitely able to carry his team to playoff success. He got really close to making the Super Bowl against the Kansas City Chiefs in the conference championship, but unfortunately, say what you will about what if the refs had any impact or if there's any cheating involved. At the end of the day, the Bills lost the game and they had a lot of chances to win that game, and they were failed. Josh Allen failed to capitalize them. He just cannot beat Patrick Mahomes in the big games. He is literally winless against Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs. Every time they face each other, he has lost. And I do think that he's definitely a Super Bowl contender, but since he just cannot beat Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, he is not going to be one of my favorites to win the Super Bowl, making the Super Bowl. I'm just saying. Next up, we have the Atlanta Falcons, which didn't they have Kirk Cousins this season, and he did a couple good in a couple of games, and then just kind of fell apart. And then I think they ended up getting rid of Kirk Cousins and then putting in the rookie quarterback, even though they paid Kirk Cousins like a shit ton of money to play for them. I don't really know what that was about, but for the Falcons, I definitely don't see them making the playoffs. I'm going to say they're honestly probably going to be. No, I won't put them that far, but they're definitely going to be mediocre at best. Next up, we have the Seattle Seahawks. Don't really have too much to say about Seahawks. I think they had a pretty good season. But they lost, I think, DK Metcalf this season, right? I don't know. I said they'll be better than mediocre, but I don't think they're going to be making the playoffs. Next up, the New England Patriots, which had a really big struggle at the quarterback position. A far cry from their success in the early 2000s and even the early mid 2000s, or the mid 2000s and the early 2010s with Tom Brady. They really haven't even gotten close to the success they had with Tom Brady, and they've been in rebuild mode ever since. And I don't see that changing this season either. Gonna put that motherfucker in number one pick contention. Next up, we have the Cleveland Browns, which has been notoriously bad the entire existence of the franchise, and they still have not made a single Super Bowl, and I don't see that changing this season. I don't really know what move they've made in the offseason, but I don't think they're going to be enough. I'll say they go mediocre at best. Next up, we have the Houston Texans, which I've seen a lot of potential out of this team, to be honest. They seemed really good last season, but just couldn't make it deep in the playoffs. I'm pretty sure they made the playoffs last season, but they weren't able to cut deep into the playoffs with a lot of star-studded teams to face, and they just don't have it quite yet. But I do think they have potential to be a wild card team this season, but I will not guarantee they make the playoffs. And then, of course, we have the Kansas City Chiefs. Everyone knows the Kansas City Chiefs is a favorite to make the Super Bowl. Every year they have Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes has made a conference. I'm pretty sure he's made the Super Bowl or at least the conference championship. There's some ridiculous stat where he has made the conference championship every season he has played, has started for the Kansas City Chiefs. He might have even made the Super Bowl every season, which has been a starter for the Kansas City Chiefs, and that's actually a ridiculous fucking stat. The Kansas City Chiefs are a favorite to win the Super Bowl every single fucking season. They have Patrick Mahomes healthy and starting quarterback behind center, so he's definitely going to be playing in the Super Bowl favorite, probably the Super Bowl favorite. Dallas Cowboys. We're just going to move on from that. Next up, we have the San Diego Chargers. Or are they LA Chargers now? They're the LA Chargers now. I can't really tell you. Like they're like the most boring team. Apparently they have like some really good talent, whatever. I'm going to say they're going to be missing the playoffs this season. Next up with New York Jets. New York Jets just can't seem to get together. They can't find a good quarterback. They tried the gamble with Aaron Rodgers. Didn't work out last season or the season before that. I really don't see them doing any better this season. I'm going to say they're going to be mediocre at best. Carolina Panthers. They still have Taylor. Or no, that's the Jaguars. I couldn't even tell you who's the starting quarterback at the fucking Carolina Panthers. They just, every season, they seem to drop the ball even further. So I don't really see them changing much this season. I'm gonna say young but intriguing. Next up, we have the Tennessee Titans, who absolutely got smacked around last season and ended up getting the first round pick. I don't even know who they picked in the first round. Maybe they picked a quarterback. Who fucking knows? I'm gonna say young but intriguing. Next up, we have the Indianapolis Colts. Can't even tell you the record. I think they did they make the playoffs last season? They went 8-9. They missed the playoffs this season. Finished second in their division, which shows how fucking terrible the was that NFC South? Really in the AFC? I can't tell you because I really just don't care. They're in the AFC South. The AFC South kind of sucks, but yeah, I'd say they're probably gonna be potential wild card just because their fucking division sucks. And speaking of the same division, the Jacksonville Jaguars, which I cannot remember a single season where this team was even decent since I've been alive and watching football. They've just sucked every year. They're going to be number one pick contention. So I'll kind of blitz through the last of these guys, but this is what my opinions are on the NFL teams this season. Let me know what you think in the comments. Obviously, I'm not like the most versed and well informed when it comes to NFL teams and sports. I do watch them. I watch the NFL more than any other sport, and I'm excited to see how the season goes. So I'm definitely referring back to this tier list as the season progresses and see where my picks were, and seeing where I was wrong and right. But from what I've heard in the news and basing on what the franchise histories that have been, this is what my opinions are on each team and what they're going to do this coming 2025-26 season. So, like I said, let me know what you think in the comments. Am I way off the mark? Am I just right? Am I missing something here? But this is just my opinion, and I would like to know y'all's as well and what y'all think every team should be at. So, anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video once again, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.